how do I know if I need to make a shift for my organization?
So if you're currently using a SPLA agreement in AWS, Google Cloud, or any other service provider outside of Microsoft, you will be out of compliance with your licensing.
Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of the Microsoft Playbook. Today we're talking to Luan Tran about SPLA, one of probably the most eloquent and beautiful acronyms I think I have ever heard that's in the Microsoft ecosystem. Luan, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Tipper.
Okay, first, so explain to me what SPLA is and who uses it.
Yeah, so SPLA is an acronym for Service Provider Licensing Agreement. And essentially, it's a service provider that will rent licensing directly from Microsoft, allowing them some flexibility for pricing and increase and decreasing of licenses based off of employee counts. So as employee counts increase, they can increase the actual licensing count. And as employee count decreases, they can reduce their spend as well through a SPLA rental program.
Nice, I like that flexibility. That resounds with a risk-averse individual like me. So I know there have been some changes recently as of October 1st of 2025. Can you walk us through those?
Yeah, so the big change is that Microsoft no longer allows SPLAs to be used in public cloud environments. So example, AWS, Google Cloud Space. And basically they're trying to align the way that their licensing model works with the rest of their licensing models across the board. SPLAs were originally intended for service providers to use on-prem with their own data center, own servers in-house. And as the world has changed and the world of servers have changed, Microsoft is now trying to make sure that all their licensing aligns with the rest of their licensing agreements that they have.
Okay, so why are they doing this now? Is this about money? Are they driving more people to Azure? What's the strategy?
They're driving people more towards Azure, and then they're also, like I said, aligning their licensing agreements across the board, so that way there's a little bit more clear-cut information as to what licensing agreements can be used where. And at the end of the day, they're just trying to make sure that people are compliant with their licensing and that everything's aligned on their end as well.
Okay, so things are changing. How do I know if I need to make a shift for my organization?
So if you're currently using a SPLA agreement in AWS, Google Cloud, or any other service provider outside of Microsoft, you will be out of compliance with your licensing. So essentially what you would need to look at is going into a different type of licensing agreement with Microsoft. Open value licensing is a good example of that, where you can get your licensing, you'll own your licensing. It's no longer going to be rentals, but it's going to be an asset of yours now. So you'll own the licensing and it's something that you can use for the lifespan that you need it for.
Okay. What does the transition mean for providers or hosting businesses?
Essentially, they would just need to speak with the Microsoft partner like TrustedTech and basically go over what their licensing needs would be and just transition over to one of those other licensing agreements like open value licensing, MPSA, things like that, where they'll own the licensing and they're going to be perpetual style licenses.
All right, so Luan, what are the main alternative licensing models that affected organizations need to consider?
Yeah, so there's essentially two different routes that you can take when it comes to this. The first route is a pay-as-you-go route. So typically what you could do is you can include your consumption of the licensing through your annual, or not annual, but monthly payments of subscription for either Azure or your public cloud space. That's gonna be your first option. The second option is the BYOL, or bring your own license model, where you can transition into a different licensing agreement with Microsoft, including open value licenses or MPSAs. And those are gonna be different types of agreements where you'll own the licenses and you'll bring them to the environment that you're looking to deploy them in.
How are you advising your customers on which of those two paths to take?
So one of the biggest things I like to do is I like to review the environment and see what their usage looks like. Whether it's going to be long-term usage or short-term usage, I'll be able to help guide them in the right direction to ensure that they're finding the most cost-effective licensing route that's going to be best for the organization itself.
All right, so obviously, Luan, like a lot of changes happening right now. What about following October 1st? What about the future for SPLA? What do you see as sort of coming down the pipe?
Yeah, so SPLAs are still going to be available through Microsoft. It's not like it's going away completely. It's just more intended for environments that are hosted on-premise. So as an organization, if you have your servers on-premise or you have your own dedicated servers within a data center somewhere, you'll utilize the SPLA licensing for those types of environments where it is considered on-premise. The SPLA licensing is only being affected for anything that's a public cloud environment where your servers aren't hosted in a data center specifically somewhere. It's like Azure, AWS, Google Cloud Space, where it's up in the cloud somewhere and someone else is managing those servers for you. So SPLA is still going to be there. It's just going to be used in different types of environments.
Got it, so not going anywhere.
Yeah, not going anywhere.
Thanks so much for your time today talking SPLA. Really appreciate it, and we'll catch y'all next time on the next Microsoft Playbook.